Hello, I am Michelle,
And I'm William.
and today we're going to discuss agency as it pertains to Georgia law. So Georgia law on agency is BRETA. And what does BRETA stand for?
Broker Relationship and Real Estate Transaction Act.
All right, great. So under the terms of BRETA, let's jump right in and talk about the difference between a customer and a client.
Okay. Well, the major difference between a customer and a client is everyone that you run across is a customer. You are to treat them fair and honestly. That's the rules. You treat everyone fair and honest, and that's one of the reasons why, as real estate professionals, they do a criminal background check to make sure that you treat everyone fair and honestly. In order to be a client or principal, you need to have a written agreement.
Okay, so when we sign these agreements, I think one of the key things to understand is who the relationship really belongs to. Can you explain that?
Yes, absolutely, because we have a lot of misunderstanding on this. When dealing with this agreement is between the client and the broker firm. It has nothing to do with the salesperson. The salesperson is an affiliate of the broker, so they can represent them, but the agreement is between the broker, the firm, and their client principal.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's what they mean when they say all listings belong to the broker,
Absolutely.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, thank you. Now let's talk about the different types of agency. When we meet with a client or a customer who's going to be a client, we're explaining the types of agencies that we offer. And so let's start with dual agency. What is dual agency?
Dual agency is when you represent the buyer and seller in the same transaction.
Okay, and that's different from designated agency in that when you have designated agency, you have two agents who work for the same broker, one representing the buyer and one representing the seller. Right. Now, what is a transaction agent or transaction broker?
The transactional broker, facilitator broker, is a broker that doesn't represent either party, the seller or the buyer, when all parties are customers.
Okay, so everybody's a customer in this transaction.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So we briefly talked about dual agency, but let's get more in depth with it. Is dual agency legal?
Well, let's talk about the agencies as well. So you have what they call single agency and dual agency.
Okay.
And the major difference is what your responsibility would be as the broker. As a single agency, you're only responsible for one client in that transaction, while a dual agency, you're responsible for both. Mm-hmm. It's legal in the state of Georgia, but you have to give what they call informed consent, where all parties must agree to it in writing to allow this to happen. So it is legal, but most brokers choose not to do it because it leaves yourself up for more.
Let's move on to sub-agency. That's another agency that we don't see a lot of, or we don't see any of, actually. I don't think that I've ever come across the situation to do it, but we still have to talk about it. So what is sub-agency?
In order to have sub-agency, the buyer must be a customer.
Okay.
And then when the buyer becomes a customer, that means the selling broker and its affiliates will represent the seller in that transaction and not the buyer at all.
Fantastic. Thank you for explaining. So when someone is becoming a client, if they're going to be your buyer client, they will initially sign a buyer's brokerage agreement. However, if a seller is going to hire you, there's a couple different options as to what kind of listing agreement they could potentially sign with you.
Absolutely.
All right, so why don't you tell us about the 4 types of listings available?
Okay, absolutely. So there's 4 different types of listings that's available. You have exclusive right to sell, you have exclusive agency, you have an open listing, and then you have a net listing, which we know is not allowed in Georgia. An exclusive right to sell gives you the highest form of protection as an agent because it doesn't matter who sells the property, you get paid. Exclusive agency means that they're exclusive to just you. They can only use one company to represent them in the sale of their home, but if they sell their home themselves, then they don't have to pay you. So that's the only time you wouldn't get paid is if they sold the property themselves. And then the open listing says it's open, so they can have as many agency relationships out there, and whoever brings the ready, willing, and able buyer is the person that they pays. And in that particular one, it's called it's a unilateral agreement.
Wow, okay. So in what case, just real quickly, would somebody use an exclusive agency agreement?
Exclusive agency agreement, sometimes you'll find with people that want to do for sale by owner. It gives them, afford them the ability to still sell the home themselves, and then allows you to also market and sell the property for them as well.
Right. Okay. But of course, for our purposes, we always stick with that exclusive right to sell.
We like the exclusive right to sell, so that way we can put a sign in the yard, and whoever sells, we get paid.
That's right. All right. So the net listing, you said it's not allowed in Georgia, but what exactly is a net listing?
A net listing is when the client tells you that I need a certain amount, and anything over that amount is your fee. So if the home is going to be worth 150, but they say sell it for 100, and anything over the 100,000, you get to keep as your commission.